KFC building. Down.
KFC?
Yeah, in the church. Wait, I want that.
KFC?
I want that too.
You're greedy. I don't know. Well, hello and good day to you. My name is Nate. This is Limping Through Models. So, a while back, I purchased the Walthers Model Railroad Reference Book. The 90th anniversary of Walthers. They're doing a big shebang on the cover here, a big to-do on the inside, all that good stuff about the history of Walthers, timelines, all this other crazy stuff. I decided I was going to get this because whenever I would get like the tiny Walthers catalog in the mail, I would always give it to my son, and he would always, circle all sorts of things in there that he would want to get and stuff like that. And I figured, you know what? Why not get him a bigger book to start circling stuff in? So I decided to get him that book, and here it is right here. It is well worn and well used after, I don't know, maybe less than 2 months of paging through it. And there's just circle after circle, like this whole page, everything here is circled. He's circling everything in here that he wants. He's treating it like it's like I tell him, this is a wish list, son. It's not a get list. And he thinks he's going to get everything. And it's like, oh, I circle that, I'm going to get that. I circle that, I'm going to get that. That's not how it works. He hasn't gotten that yet. But I did see one thing that I decided to make a concession on, and I haven't told him this yet. And I'm going to surprise him on his birthday. In here, there was a model for a KFC by Lifelike, Kentucky Fried Chicken, for those of you that aren't well versed in the lingo of the States here. So I got him that. I got it off of Amazon for $20. Came here the next day because I wasn't going to pay $20 plus the shipping that Walthers, requires for that sort of thing. Sorry, but the shipping sucks here. That's just me. Maybe that's not just me. Maybe that's others. I don't know. But nevertheless, I got the Lifelike KFC, and I built it for him. And not only that, after I got that, I purchased a spray booth off of Amazon as well. Because I've had this airbrush that I haven't used at all. And I figured, what better project to use this on than something that isn't really, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but if I mess it up, it's not that big a deal. So I decided I also was going to use this as the opportunity to break out the spray booth, break out the airbrush, and just go to town on this. And that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to show you here. So I'm making this KFC for my son for his birthday, and you'll see his reaction at the end. So with all that in mind, let's get started. Here I am trying to be a good little modeler by washing my plastic parts before doing anything with them. The truth is, I don't do this. I've never seen a grease spot, fingerprint, or any other blemish that would have been eradicated by a good old soapy wash. I want to put this stuff together. I want to paint. I want to get her done, as some Nebraskans parading around as good old Southern boys might say. Now, would that be considered carpetbagging if they come from the Northwest instead of the North? I digress. After a rinse, I lay out some paper towels to lay out all the parts to dry on my workbench. One thing I do like about this kit is the piece numbers are pressed into the part, allowing you to de-sprue and prepare the parts for painting and still being able to tell what's what. The main theme behind this video is my absolute first attempt at airbrushing. There were many videos I watched over the course of my preparation for this very moment. One genre I stumbled upon was that of wartime shipbuilders. The ones you can find on YouTube are quite talented. I can only wish to have the patience these modelers have. They take so much time to prepare their medium before they lay paint on it. One of these points of preparation is masking surfaces before painting. I've done this many times in the past, but not to the level of care and detail as what you see here. Precise measurements and cuts to score enough tape to mask your model. I have my gloves on for this one because as good as some of these shipbuilders are, there's absolutely no way I'm going to be putting on any finger condoms of any kind to keep my grubby fingerprints off this plastic. I'm going to glove up because that's what you do. Now I can't let this build go by without a good old rattle can spray paint for these models. The least I can do is prime them for the big moment. The first thing I do is throw on a layer of clear coat on my newly masked windows. This helps to seal up the seam lines, which it did. However, you'll later see how my haste and excitement affected these windows. All the other parts get spaced out and taped down where needed. Side note, this ended up being the absolute worst day to do this as it was way too windy. And my impatience gets the best of me, and I decided to use the last bit of black spray paint I had on the windows to make the frame. I should have waited. Oh, how I should have waited. Here it is, the moment, my very first airbrushing endeavor. I have my moisture catch, I get a feel for the air, I have my paint, I have my trigger method down pat. Press, pull, push, release. Press, pull, push, release. I have my turntable, and I have my very first victim, the roof. While getting all the white pieces painted and out of the way, I noticed blobs of paint dripping onto the pieces. I have a look at the airbrush and I saw a pool of paint had collected in the needle cap. Thankfully, I purchased an airbrush cleaning kit and took a pipe cleaner from that kit and took it to the pool to sop it up. Also, I was reminded of how an airbrush delivers its paint when the smaller pieces I had laid out turned over after engaging the brush. Duh. A nifty little thing I cooked up in a pinch was to use some old common baseball cards as holders for some of the parts. I do suggest you look into any value these cards may have, or stash away the duplicates for this purpose if this is something you want to try. Back to the windows and the reveal of my tedious masking work. Everything came out well with that, the only problem was the back of the window. The way I sprayed the clear coat on these pieces caused some of the spray to hit the underside of the piece, creating a cloudy finish. So I used some finer grit sandpaper to smooth things out. Then I was going to put some clear gloss on the back to remove the cloudiness. I don't know if this works, and I never will as my gloss paint is completely dry. After that, I took some glass cleaner to see what would happen. It was fine until it dried, and then it was cloudy again. Oh well. It's going to a 5-year-old anyway, like he'll care. After the success I had with masking the windows, and only with masking the windows, I tackled the roof. This is going to be a striped red and white roof. The tape I was going to use to mask it was a touch too wide, so I lay out the strips and took a straight edge and a blade down the middle to make 2 pieces. After it's fully masked, I now have a Georgia gold roof, but I'm still going to paint it red. But first, I'll put some clear coat on it. In between roof coats, I spray some of the other red parts of the model. After the parts are dry, I deliver a clear coat through the airbrush. Off screen, I did some additional painting and masking to highlight features of the parking lot. Now I'm just going to speed through the rest of this build. This was a super simple and easy build, very straightforward if you're following the instructions. Also, one thing to remember is that you do have the pieces numbered on the actual pieces themselves, and that really helps with putting everything together. Some of the pieces had numbers on the base itself, which I came to find out after the fact. Those numbers were actually associated with the number of the trash can, so you were supposed to put the trash can on top of the number, and that would be the place where the trash can would go. Another thing that wasn't really highlighted here, but I did the work anyway, was there's an interior that goes into this KFC building, which I masked and painted that as well. Unfortunately, because of my mess up with the glazing of the windows, nobody's really going to see it unless you look really, really, really close, which nobody's really going to do that. Aside from that, this was an easy build. What you're seeing right now is an hour's worth of work. One and done. Everything was put together, built, and ready for my son's enjoyment. A couple weeks after this, because his birthday hadn't hit yet. And there it is in all its glory, the KFC completely built and ready. And this is the nicest it's ever going to be, because I'm sure when my son gets a hold of it, something's going to happen, and it's not going to be the same. But it was fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling like chicken tonight, because here I have the Kentucky Fried Chicken all finished, all complete. I'm happy with it overall. I wish I didn't have the issues I did with the glazing, but that's a learning curve of mine, so to speak. Not so much a learning curve, it's more impatience, because I wanted to get it done. And I found the first clear coat that I had at my disposal to spray on it, and it made everything all chalky. So I had to do all the work I needed to do to get it as clear as possible. And then once I did that, it still looks all frosted over, so you can't really see all the details inside. But again, this was something that I was willing to make mistakes on, because it's all a learning process. And I learned a lot about how to airbrush doing this. And also, I think I have a pretty good model for my son here. It's a very sturdy model. It's not going to break easily, I hope. And my son's been really good about taking care of his buildings in his cities and towns. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. I'm going to give this to him on his birthday. And he's going to probably put this in his town somewhere. He's going to be really excited, I bet. So let's get to that. And then afterwards, you'll see the close-ups. And that'll be it. So like, comment, subscribe, do everything you have to do to get to the next video, where I continue building models for you and having some fun, I guess, doing it. So until then, I'm a little hoarse right now. Until then, I'm also trying to be quiet because my son's sleeping right now. Until then, see you next time. Hey, Bub, I got one more here you got to open up. You got to be careful with it, okay? Be gentle. What is it?
KFC.
You put that in your city? Okay. Looks good.